Mindfulness 109. Mindfulness of mind objects. Let us take an example of a mind object which we probably all experience, which is impatience. So we normally feel our impatience and if we are mindful, we can feel that our impatience is in the general area which is just in front of us, our chest. And when we have that mindfulness and we are calm and have our intention to observe that mindfulness, that impatient feeling with our mindfulness, we will see that the mindfulness, the impatience, instead of being like a straight line like this, it is in fact a series of mindfulness. If we do not have a strong mindfulness, we will not see that. If we just have a little mindfulness that is not strong, then we will see the impatience as a straight line. So what we need to do is apply stronger mindfulness, and we will see that the impatient feeling will be like a curve. Now, the issue with the mindfulness object is that impatience is a mind object. Mindfulness is also a mind object. And mind objects can only occur one at a time. So as the mind is experiencing impatience, it is not possible for mindfulness to arise at the same time to observe the impatience. So this is just not possible. So how can we then observe impatience? Then we need to go and see the impatience. We see the impatience arising and falling. And what happens is the next one is a mind object of mindfulness. And because it is so proximate and so close, that is able to detect that this is impatience. And the impatience will keep on coming, and the mindfulness will see the impatience. The impatience will come, and we will see the impatience. The impatience will come, and the mind will see the impatience. As the mindfulness gets stronger and stronger, then we continue to get more mindfulness. And in this way, the impatience is squeezed out because mindfulness takes the place of impatience. And in this way, we can know impatience, and mindfulness can slowly replace impatience. And this is true for any mind object. For instance, if we have thoughts, it's the same process. Instead of impatience, we have thoughts. Thoughts are also mind objects like that. They have a beginning, middle, end. And we know the thinking. Thought, we know the thinking. Thinking, we know the thinking. Thinking, we know. And that is how thinking stops. Similarly with memory. If we have memory of a song, we know it's a memory. We have memory of the song, we know it, and the memory would in the end disappear, and the only thing we have left is knowing, and knowing that we know. Now there's a little bit of a refinement in the case of memory and thinking, in that when we have a memory, there is the pure memory, and there is the thing that we are memorizing. So it could be a tree and the name, and there could be a story related to that tree. So the memory is in two parts. There is a pure memory, which is represented by the red color, and what the memory remembers, which is represented by the black. Similarly, when we have a thought, if we have a thought, we have a pure thought, and what we're thinking about the tree. So we have the pure memory and what we are remembering, the pure thought and what we are thinking about. Where then do we place our mindfulness? We can place it in two places. One is we can place it at the story. And we follow the story through till the end. The other way is we just know that it's a memory without going into the story, or knowing only that it's a thought and do not go into the story. If we go into the story, the thought will end when the story ends. But if we just go and know that it's a memory, and we just go and know that it's a thought, then the thought and the memory will close down. To take an example from the computer, if we use Microsoft Office, which we all do, and we open up a Word file, we get a Word file. And we start typing on it, and that becomes our story. We can open up another Word file and print a different story on here, and open up yet another Word file and print a different story in there. The stories may be different, but the word file is the same. So if our mindfulness goes into the story, it will follow it to the end. It will read the end of the document. If we go into this document, we will read this document to the end. If we go into this document, then we will read this story to the end. But if we just see this as a Word document without going into what is being printed there, then we can go to this little box at the top of the Word file with a little X on it. And if we go there, this Word file is closed. If we go here, this Word file is closed. And if we go here, this Word file is closed. Similarly, if we go just to the thinking will close. If we go to the pure memory, know it's a memory, the memory will close. And this is how we can scan our mind to close all thinking and to know that our mind is completely free of thinking and memories. Just like we clean up our computer desktop and there are no open files on the desktop. We have a clean desktop. We can also have a clean mind, free of thoughts. Coming back to this example of impatience, if we are mindful and we see the impatience, mindfulness gets stronger and stronger, and the impatience goes away. Now there's another way of getting rid of this impatience. Give you an example of a teacup. If I put a tablespoon of salt in the teacup and stir it into the water and drink the water in the teacup, the water will taste salty. But if I have a big pool of water and I put the same tablespoon of salt in that pool of water and drink the water will not taste salty. Similarly, if I have impatience, I first of all need to locate where is the impatience. And when I've located where it is, I use my mindfulness to see how big is the impatience. By concentrating my mindfulness gets stronger and stronger. And I'm able to expand my feeling of impatience. I'm able to expand my feeling of impatience. Now, when I expand the feeling of impatience, I am not increasing the impatience. I am diffusing the impatience. It's the same amount of impatience, but it's being diffused in a bigger area of mindfulness. Just as the same tablespoon of salt, when it is in a cup it tastes salty. But when the same tablespoon of salt is diffused in a large pool of water, the water is not salty. So in this case, if we have impatience, we are mindful of the impatience, and we can expand the space of the impatience. The impatience feeling gets diffused, more and more diffused, more and more diffused. And in this way, we can diffuse the feeling of impatience. And at the same time, a feeling of mindfulness would get bigger and bigger. That would be the quickest way of getting rid of any bad feelings like impatience, dislike, hate, wanting, or even happy feelings. We can also expand it out in this way and end up with a feeling of just emptiness. And with increasing mindfulness, we get calm, we get happiness, and we get let go. And this is the way we can be mindful of any feelings we have, how we can be mindful of memories and thinking. Finally, the other thing we can do is, if we have memory or thinking, we can apply our mindfulness to this, and we can feel whether the memory compared to the feeling, the mindfulness, which is bigger. If we have a thought, we have mindfulness of the thought, which is bigger? And we'll find that the mindfulness is larger than the thought. The mindfulness is larger than the memory. And in the case of a feeling like impatience, the mindfulness is larger than the impatience. And this is another way that we can weaken or eliminate the memory, the thinking, and the impatience. And again, be left with just an empty feeling, which is calm, happy, and let go. Emptiness is not nothing. Emptiness is just a feeling that there is no harmful things in there. The reason mindfulness will replace harmful feelings is that mindfulness and harmful feelings are both mind objects. Hence, if mindfulness increases, the harmful feelings must decrease, because mindfulness objects can arise only one at a time.